Hello everyone, so today we are going to be making a homemade weed killer using 5% white vinegar. So unfortunately weeds are like a universal problem. Everyone has got issues with them growing in the back garden, in the patio, in front gardens, on a driveway, and also in your flower beds. But lucky enough, I've been recommended by a couple people now on using white vinegar and other household objects as well to make a homemade weed killer. So let's try this out. So in order to make this homemade weed killer, we're going to need a couple household items as well. And that is, we're going to need some table salt, some washing up liquid, and the white vinegar itself. And also some spoons to measure this stuff with. And to apply the actual mixture itself, we're going to be using a pressurized water bottle to spray our weeds. Now, if you want to try and get one of these yourselves, or the white vinegar mix, I'm going to put a link in the description, as I've got both of these from Amazon. And also the cool thing is about this water bottle, you can actually see how many litres and how many gallons it holds. This thing's only a 2-litre spray bottle, but that's going to be perfect for our mixture. Right, so now onto the mixing process. First of all, put in our white vinegar. So let's put in 2 litres of this liquid. There we go, 2 litres. And next, we're going to be using 4 tablespoons of regular salt. And lastly, we're going to do 1 teaspoon of washing up liquid. Right, let's put this on. Give it a nice shake. Alright, so that wasn't too bad to do. That was quite simple to make. And we're going to be testing it on different areas. We're going to test it on a little area where we've got a small amount of weeds, a medium area, a pretty large area, and an area of brambles at my allotment. So this is the small area we're going to be dealing with first. We've got a couple of weeds growing in these cracks, and we've got a nice line of clover and weeds growing there. So let's test this out. So we've got our medium area, so this is like kind of like tallish grass in our front patio. Let's take this out. And now on a nice big large area. So the trick, if you have noticed it, is we need to try and get as much of it wet as we can. You want to make sure you give all the leaves and all the green a very good soaking. The more on it, the better it is. And now we're at my allotment, and my neighbour allotment is abandoned at the moment and it is completely full with brambles. So let's see if this 5% white vinegar touches it, but I got a feeling it might not. If that's the case, we might need to improve this from 5% to maybe 20% white vinegar. Let's just try it anyway. So now it's a waiting game. We now got to wait a day or two and see what the results are. But now I'm going to tell you quickly the pros and the cons of using this homemade weed killer. So some of the pros of using this homemade weed killer is the fact that it is cheaper than actually buying weed killer from the shops, as most of the stuff you'll probably have at your home anyway. And also the fact that this isn't full of really bad, dangerous chemicals. So the good thing is that even though I've applied the homemade weed killer over there, the actual mixture is safe for dogs and pets at your house. So you haven't got to worry about accidentally hurting or poisoning your pets at home. Good girl. So now for the cons. So one of the cons that we might find out later on in the video is the fact that it might not be able to kill bigger weeds. So it might be perfect for killing off small little weeds like this one, but it might struggle to kill off weeds that are this size. And also another problem is it might not be strong enough to kill the weed roots. As long as you keep on top of it and keep killing the top of the weeds, hopefully the roots will soon die. So another thing we've got to realise is this weed killer is not selective. Just like any other weed killer, if I was to apply this to this back bed here to try and kill the weeds, it will also kill the flowers. Yes, we just got to be careful about that, as we don't want to accidentally use this in an area you don't want it to and completely wipe out your whole garden. But if we are going to be using this weed killer here to try and kill off all the weeds, the weed killer is going to affect the ground soil. Now, it will affect it in a negative way, but the good thing is the soil will recover a lot quicker using this weed killer, because if you was to buy store-bought ones, the ground takes a lot longer to try and recover. Using this is actually a bonus and a negative, as you are going to be basically damaging the soil, but it will recover a lot faster than using standard store-bought weed killers. And the last con, especially for us people living in the UK, the weed killer treatment works a lot better when it's sunny outside. As you can tell from the background, it's a little bit overcast today, but if you was to apply this on a nice hot sunny day, the sun actually helps dry out the weeds a lot quicker and a lot faster. So yes, you've got to try and time it right, as you don't want to do it when it's rainy or wet, as unfortunately the rain will just wash it all off. Like I said, a big negative here, especially in the UK, as we get hardly any sun. So that is enough talking for now. So let's see what the results are like in a couple of days' time. Okay, so it's been 24 hours since I applied the weed killer. Let's have a look and see what the results are. So this was the small area we did first, and look at this. Look how good this weed killer done to the weeds. It has absolutely destroyed them all. Like, all these clovers are just gone. Like, they all just completely died. All the weeds down here are all basically gone as well. So it works really good for the small weeds. So this is the medium area, and as you can see, all of it is just dried out. And look at this weed in particular. This one looks completely gone. So that is still a very good result. And even look at the large area. It has absolutely destroyed it. It has completely dried it right out, and it's even tackled the biggest weed, which is in here. You can see it's just completely gone. Happy days. So now for the real test. Let's go and check the brambles at the allotment and see if anything's happened to them. Oh my, I was not expecting this. It has actually damaged the brambles. I was not expecting this at all. I was expecting the 5% white vinegar not to be enough, but it has actually burnt most of the leaves on these bramble bushes. But the bramble thing itself does look quite good, but the leaves are just all gone. So that's worked out about like 50-50. It has done some damage. It hasn't done the damage that I wish it would have, which would be completely trying to kill the plant off. But yeah, it's a lot better than what I was actually expecting. So I got to admit, this experiment I think went rather well. We now know that using white vinegar is very good for small weeds, medium type weeds, and it even puts a shift in dealing with bigger household weeds. But we might need to get stronger vinegar in order to try and tackle the brambles at my allotment. But this video was a good way of me testing to see if this was man enough, and also if it was good for using it for the household weeds, which it definitely is. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. It was my first time using this homemade weed killer, and like I said, it's done very well and I would recommend it. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.